Currently, we're just rendering two components. There's one component in our app, and that's conditionally rendering either the lake or the ski resort component. Now, one of the really cool things about React is as your data changes, as it becomes more dynamic, you can use React to render the correct number of elements based on whatever your data is. Now, if that doesn't make sense, let's take a look at a quick example. So the first thing I want to do is let's get rid of our lake and our ski resort component, and we're going to replace this with a constant called lake list, and this is just going to be an array of a few lakes. So we'll have Echo Lake, we'll have Maud Lake, and we'll have Cascade Lake. Cool. And I'm going to hit enter on these so that we can read them. And now once we have them, I'm going to adjust our div a little bit here. So first things first, I can take our lake list and we're going to pass this as a property to the app component. So let's add a property called lakes, and we're going to set this to lake list. So this will pump all of our lakes from our array right here into this property. Cool. So the next thing we can do is pass lakes into our app component. And from here, what we'll do is we'll replace this div with an unordered list. So based on the items that are in our array, Echo Lake, Maud Lake, and Cascade Lake, I want to create list items for each of these. So what I can do is I'll add a JSX expression here to line 27, and then we're going to map over these lakes. So when we map over them, we're going to say, okay, for each of these lakes, we want to display each of their names in an LI. So we'll say for each lake, let's go ahead and return a list item. And inside of that list item should be the lake. So the name of the lake should be displayed. Let's take a look. I'm going to refresh and we should see that this is working. Awesome. Echo Lake, Maud Lake, and Cascade Lake. Now there's one thing that's hiding out here. If I open up our console, we see a warning here, and it says each child in an array or iterator should have a unique key property. So whenever we're rendering some sort of a list with dynamic values, we're going to need to give each a key so that React can re-render things appropriately according to the rendering rules. So let's do this. We're going to add to our lake, we're going to add a set of parentheses here, and I'm going to say lake and then I. So for each time I loop through these lakes, we're going to get a value for I, and we're going to set that value to the key. So now I can hit refresh. I've cleared this warning, and if I look at my React panel, I'm going to be able to see that my properties are these lakes, Echo, Maud, and Cascade. If I expand our app, we see that each of these has a key, 0, 1, and 2. So this way, if any updates happen, React will know exactly which element to target based on that key. So this is a quick example of how you might iterate over a list and display according to the data that you have.